Okay, Sistas fans, we're talking Season 4, Episode 20, Inside and Out. Logan seems to be hiding something, and Sabrina appears to be involved. Andy discovers Gary's deception, just as Karen chooses to tell Zach how she genuinely feels. Now, this episode, I'm not going to say it was bad. I mean, if you were on the live stream last night, or if you were following me, or if you follow me on Twitter and were live tweeting, we had a good time doing that. I'll give this episode grace because of the fact that it is definitely a setup. And based on the promo for next week, which is the penultimate episode, oh boy, there's a lot of crap going down between now and the season finale in episode 22 on August 10th. I'm going to give this episode a 5 out of 10 because, like I said, it wasn't awful. I actually liked the first half of the episode. You know, it was a bit more slower pace, but any moments where we get some development for the characters, like we learned a bit about Danny, a bit about Logan when they were on their date, I like that. And kind of like last week when I said it was a Zatima episode, but the sister stuff slowed it down. Yet again, I care nothing about the Andy and Gary stuff. And even though the Karen face-off was what we were all anticipating, and I predicted that it would be the final scene of the episode, as Zach said, I will do a breakdown of the scene because that's what I do in a separate video. I'll probably do that tomorrow, but I honestly feel nothing. Zach said everything I was saying. It's sad that you're doing all this. It really is sad. I mean, don't you already have a man? No, I have you. Oh God. Like I said, I will touch upon it, but it was just pitiful to sit through. I was cringing. It was that, not the acting or anything, but just the way that Karen was acting, not Ebony's acting, but the way Karen was acting. It's just like, yeah, this baby, I could definitely see a miscarriage because she's losing it. Okay. So we start off with Zach agreeing to meet up with Tony, not tonight, but whenever he gets a chance to over the phone. And just as he's about to, finalize details, Fatima walks in and he gets off saying, "I'll talk to you later." And Fatima can tell he's nervous about something, but he's not going to tell her yet. He just wants a little bit of time to process this. And she's a bit upset about it because he's closing her out, which I always think is funny how in one episode Zach will call out Fatima for something, whether Fatima, you're doing too much, or look, every time you're unsure about something, you don't look at me in the eye and you close me out. Don't do that. And okay, some people are like, well, Jeremy, I get what you're saying, because like in the next episode or in the next scene, Zach will do to Fatima what she was requested not to do to him. But he did just get this phone call, so I guess that's why he's hesitant to tell her not to worry. But based on the ending of the episode and next week, there's a lot to worry about. So then we go over to the Danny and Logan date. And look, like I usually say, I'm not trying to seem like I'm half-assing the review. I'm just kind of getting to the the beats of the scenes, and that's it. So it's a quiet scene, slow pace. It's Danny and Logan talking at the restaurant. He was a bit unsure why it's a double date, but oh yeah, I get it, you don't fully trust me. And yeah, I mean, look, I get it for like a woman's safety and everything. I don't trust you, but so long as you're in a public place. But then again, I think that if I was oh, I'm on a date with somebody, okay, and then it's like it's a double date, I'd feel But then again, I guess a date's a date, so who am I to complain? But regardless, they get to know each other just a little bit more. Logan seems to be more open with talking about who he is and his past compared to Danny, which somebody tweeted out. Isn't it funny how Danny is telling Preston about educating himself on black women and whatnot, yet when talking with a black man, Danny really isn't, I guess you could say, talking about herself, so the person across from her can actually get to know more about her, because it seemed like she was a bit more, I guess you could say, evasive with her answers. I mean, if nothing else, it definitely felt like she was kind of probing Logan to see if there were any Preston tendencies from, do you know any cows? Do you know any personally by name? Wait, is there something that, what's going on here? But basically, he has a background of military, army, academy training, and now he's, undercover cop, what he is now. And Danny's from Detroit. She apparently came to Atlanta or Georgia in general for college and just stayed. She's not using her major. She's a wanderer and whatnot, but I guess that, and I'm not trying to stereotype, but I'm guessing she was probably either like a philosophy or a psychology major, and, she just winded up at the airport. I mean, I will say it's real, the fact that sometimes people don't end up in the jobs that they studied, and, with student loans and whatnot, they get whatever job they can, and they just kind of stay there. I mean, it's realistic. They talk about music, and I ain't gonna lie, I was waiting for Logan to throw a curveball saying, sometimes I dazzle, or, I dabble in country. Nope, check please. I was just waiting for that. But, apparently he wears like a fake wedding ring or something, probably in regards to his role as an undercover cop. And it's kind of funny how he stands up and makes a toast about, finding the right woman. Oh, she's right here. Oh, yeah. Logan, I hate to break it to you, but I highly doubt that. So, from there, we go over to Q and Maurice, and this part had me going, wait, what? So Maurice comes in, and Q's like, oh, I cooked your dinner. I got a martini for you in the refrigerator. And this fool out of nowhere just goes, well, after all, you and Sabrina, made me rob the bank. Huh? Yeah, you two are the masterminds behind it. So what do you plan to do if you would have, stole the money and whatnot? And this was so... okay, Maurice, you can't be this dumb, because Q literally set up the whole, okay, I'm definitely wearing a wire or something. Because of the fact Maurice goes into his sarcastic spiel of, oh, well, me and Brina, we're going to take that money and, oh, we're going to split town and go to Canada and, do this and do that. And from there, Q goes right back into butler mode. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so you want me to heat this up? Okay, then I'll run you a bath. I'll rub your back. I don't know. It's just... as soon as that line came up, I'm like, is this fool trying to set them up? Because we do know in season 5 they're going to jail. Oh, boy. And I'm just sitting here like, okay, Q, this is just... I see where Tyler's going with this, but as I've said for weeks, it's the foundation, or the flimsy foundation of how this happened, that makes it even stupider. Okay. We go over to Gary at his office. So it looks like after he left the penthouse, he went straight back and he called Aaron to come over again. And I'm thinking, again, isn't Aaron and Karen supposed to, aren't Aaron and Karen supposed to have a night together or something? I don't know, but Aaron comes by, he tries to get him to calm down, and in the midst of this back and forth, this fool Gary pulls out a pair of binoculars from his desk, and when he did that, I kind of just, okay, are we really doing this here? But Aaron, out of the blue, suggests, okay, well, she's single. Gary, Andy is single. She can have whoever she wants at that penthouse. Have you thought about going out to get a girl? And then, as a retort, below the belt doesn't even describe what Gary did. Didn't your ex-wife shoot herself? And you could tell Aaron was about to leave before he fucked up Gary, because that was unnecessary. But I do think it might be hinting at something, which I will save for another video. But regardless, Aaron, bro, he's like, look, what you're not going to do is call me whenever you have one of these crisis moments and then, ridicule and mock any kind of suggestion I make. I got stuff I need to handle, so I'm going to go. And Gary's like, look, hurt people. And let's just sit down and have a drink and talk about this, because he's just flipping off about, I was over there and I was, all I could think about was, Robin and Andy. So I just left. And that was a good thing, because compared to the last time when, the whole Paris thing, he bruised the ribs. But in this case, at least he knew how to walk away. I'm not trying to say, oh, Gary's a good guy, but I will give him some credit, because it was better than what he did in season 2. That's all I'm saying. So in the midst of Aaron, trying to alleviate the situation, look, I get you're a spiritual counselor, but when you're patient F's up, you need to tell him, the fact that, I'm so effed up. No, you're not effed up, man. You're good. No, he's clearly not good, Aaron. And also, a couple things. Number one, somebody tweeted me, is like, Jeremy, the way Aaron so casually said, have you tried to go out and get another girl? Is that what Aaron did in season 1 with Karen in order to kind of get back at Fawn because she was cheating? Possibly. And then Gary did bring up, Fawn killing herself. I mean, I don't think that was a throwaway line of dialogue, but I'll get to that later. All right, so we go over to Sabrina and Bio, who arrive at the double date. And this is a quick scene because Logan quickly leaves, but Logan asks if Bio is somebody that, hey, do I know you because you look familiar? Oh no, I don't. So he pretends to get a text message and he leaves, and Danny doesn't want a third wheel, so she bounces as well. And then we get that moment from the promo everybody was talking about because Bio all of a sudden, kind of like Jacoby, out of nowhere, Tyler decides to make him like creepy for no reason. She's really beautiful. All my friends are. Oh, I want to meet all of your friends. Yes. And can you get her back here, please? And then Sabrina was about to leave. Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm focused. I'm focused on the two of us here. No one else. It's okay, Sabrina. Look into my eyes. Yes, look into my eyes. You could probably see Danny in them because I'm looking in her direction, so she's being reflected off of that. Yes, Danny. I want her back. Driver, get Danny, because he's like, hey, do you need a ride? Because his driver would send her home or whatever. Because if I remember correctly, didn't Logan say he picked Danny up? So for him to just bounce like that, I mean, I thought he was just going to say, oh, I gotta run to the restroom, I'll be right back. And then during that time, he'd get on his phone to try to look stuff up. Like, I know this nigga, Bio. So no, that wasn't the case at all. Alright, so we go over to Zach's house, and Fatima looking good in that tub. I think even the music was like, my melanin queen, or something like that. And Zach brings her a cup of wine, and he's still not ready to tell her about what he was talking about on the phone before she got back with her bag. Again, another great scene. She talks about how she's a patient woman, but don't, try her patience, and she won't pull it out of him because he doesn't want her to, and in time they will talk. So Logan actually calls Danny, and he's like Preston, he's standing right outside of the door. He tries to explain why he left, and she doesn't want to hear it, but eventually lets him in. And this is a lot of back and forth that Logan basically says, I can't tell you everything that's going on for the sake of my job, as well as people getting hurt. But, is your friend Sabrina Holland, does she work at the bank? And, was it robbed recently? And, Danny vouches for her character, but then also says, I'm not answering any more of your questions. So Logan says she needs to be careful and to get a lawyer. And interestingly enough, notice that Logan didn't say anything about Bio. He was really only asking about Sabrina. So Sabrina could be getting attacked from both ends without even knowing it because she's innocent. She doesn't know if Bio's into some shady shit. And clearly she had nothing to do with the bank robbery. But outside forces may look at things a bit differently, as we learn in the promo for next week. Alright, so after that, Logan gets kicked out. And I guess because Danny had one botched date, she's probably going to look forward to cooking that meal for El Fuego because hell, ain't nothing else going on for her. Alright, so we go over to Andy, who's calling Karen, and she's sitting outside of Zach's. We know that, but Andy doesn't know that yet. She's just sitting in her car and then says, I'm out driving, I need some peace and quiet. And basically Karen calls her out quick, fast, in a hurry. It's like, I know you called about Gary. What? No, I just wanted to talk. Andy, the girls know this shit. That's why, in a way, even though she was really hoish, Andy in season 3 was better because she wasn't calling her friends with this drama. Remember, at the end of season 2, Gary requested that Andy didn't tell her girls about everything that went on between, him and her, to kind of keep things close to the vest. And that kind of led to her with Robin because she kind of used him as a way to vent out her emotions and screw him whenever Gary wasn't acting right. But now it's back to the same old, say, Andy, we know why you're calling us. There's no other reason you call unless you got something going on with Gary. And then Karen literally calls the entire situation for what it was. So Gary came over. He acted some sort of way. He clearly knows that Robin was there. And, Karen kind of rushed her off the phone because Gary calls saying he wants to be buzzed up. And then, of course, Andy realizes, wait, are you in front of Zach's house? No, I got to go, Andy. Beep. We got to talk about this baby. It's like, just come on. So Andy lets Gary up into the penthouse. Andy asks, I'll give you one chance to tell me. And then Gary reveals why he ran out. He doesn't have cameras. Wait, do you think I'm that kind of guy? No, it's the kind of person I know you am. I know you are. So Gary explains how the building near the penthouse is, his, and he can actually see with a telescope. Andy kicks him out, and turns out, you know what? I'm going to leave. I'm going to go back to the apartment I paid for because you haven't changed. Not really much to talk about in this scene because of the fact that I should have known. I'm so stupid. Yes, you are, Andy. Jasmine told you this shit in season 1 about who Gary was, his tendencies, but guess what? You didn't want to listen. Even when the feds arrested him, even when the government seized your assets, even when he bruised your ribs, even when Jasmine came back for girls to fight you in the parking garage, even when Jasmine popped up with a gun to kill both you and Gary. You're still entertaining this shit. I don't care. She even went on to say, get out of my apartment. So, oh wow, she's really using the whole it's in my name, so get your ass out. And that's it. So, final scene, Karen goes up to the door at Zach's place. She knocks a couple times. Zach comes out. I love the fact that Zach did not let her into the house. Oh, so I let you stay at my apartment for 3 years, but you won't let me into your house. This scene just proved what we've been saying for months. Karen hasn't changed. Even if her and Zach got back together, it would be back to square one. They will fight and break up within 24 hours, get back together again, and the cycle continues. Like I said, I will do a full video breaking this stuff down, but there really isn't much to say that I haven't said already. Except for Zach, for the love of everything, stop saying, I love you, but I love Fatima now. Don't even say you love Karen. Just don't even say it. This heifer's acting like he ain't paid her the quote-unquote $77,000 that he owed her and this and that. And she's begging because she actually says what I've been saying for well over a year. You know how this works. We break up, we're mad, we might sleep around, we get back together, and you forgot how that goes. And I'm just thinking, like Zach said, but don't you got a man? I have you. No, the fuck you don't, Karen. And the more she was going on, the more I'm like, this chick is delusional. She's demented. And then I thought back to what Gary said. Didn't your wife kill herself? And I'm thinking, look, I know we've talked about the possibility of, Karen having a miscarriage and, she's clearly going the acrimony route. But I'm wondering, will things go so far where Karen kills herself? Now, some people are like, no, she might have a miscarriage because of this stress and all emotional turmoil. But I think, she won't hurt herself or the baby. But I'm sorry, if you look at how Fawn was acting in season 1 prior to killing herself, she's being just like Karen. She's delusional. She's desperate. She's popping up at places unannounced. She popped up at Karen's place to follow Aaron. She popped up at Karen's job a couple times. Karen's doing the same shit as Fawn. And that's not okay. I'm really worried for her. If after next week, if Andy doesn't call Karen's mom, I don't know what to say. You can clearly tell your friend is losing her shit. That's not to say Andy hasn't had a bunch of hissy fit moments, but your friend who is pregnant, hormonal, and clearly not in her right state of mind, she's going to do something reckless. And I don't want to see it. But in the midst of the back and forth, Karen, you need to stop. Stop. No, Zach, you need to stop. Stop what? What am I supposed to stop? And then Fatima says, oh, there's something to stop, all right. Oh, look, Fatima looking down with them legs and that glass of wine. Shit, that was it. That was a wrap. I mean, that was the episode right there. All I need to see was those 10 seconds. I'm coming down. And then you see how Karen wiped those tears away. Oh, coming down, huh? And the episode ends. So, guys, like I said, this episode was definitely a setup episode. I wouldn't even call it filler per se. But there were a lot of scenes that I'm like, okay, it's more of the same stuff. Definitely had more of a presence for Danny and Sabrina in this episode. And it's funny because I actually like their story beats more than Sabrina. Andy and Karen, because it's just the same shit with them. So with that being said, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit like, hit subscribe, follow me on social media. Links are in the description below. And I will catch you in the next video.